pleased, Mr. Speaker, to speak on this motion that really asks the government to reverse the devastating changes it has made to employment insurance and further reinstate the extra 5 weeks pilot project. So I support unequivocally those 2 points. The Conservative government, Mr. Speaker, the changes they've made to employment insurance are punitive, ill-conceived, and penalize seasonal workers, and I want to emphasize, penalize seasonal industries and will undermine the seasonal economy. The seasonal economy in this country is responsible for about 20% of our exports. It's responsible for a substantial amount of our GDP. And in fact, those seasonal industries require skilled workers. And if those seasonal industries and seasonal businesses are going to survive and prosper and contribute to the Canadian economy, it has to be understood that they require skilled workers to come back in. As a farmer, Mr. Speaker, you know, I have a neighbour who runs a multi-million-dollar operation, has three full-time employees year-round, has 3 seasonal employees, he's had those seasonal employees coming back every year now for somewhere between 10 and 15 years, depending on the individual. They know how to run a 300,000 piece of equipment. They know his operation well. He does employ them sometimes 2 times a week, 2 days a week in the summer. And so those folks with skills are there for him in the following season. Now, with the punitive penalties that this government is putting in place with these EI changes, it's going to affect that individual substantially. The employees who work for him are penalized 50 cents on the dollar for the 2 days that they work. That's a penalty. They want to work. They want to earn more income. They want to spend that income they earn in the economy. And this government, with these changes, is taking that away. And with the penalty that's imposed on them, and I see the parliamentary secretary frowning, I wish she'd come down and meet some of those people. The fact of the matter is that those individuals now, if they're going to be penalized, they have to look at, well, do I stay here in this community? Do I leave my family? Do I go to work in Fort McMurray or whatever? It does 2 things. It affects the communities, it affects that farmer's business, and it does a 3rd thing, Mr. Speaker. It affects the family. And the economy as a whole will be injured. But, you know, these changes came in, Mr. Speaker, and one of the problems, and why I look at the parliamentary secretary again, were done without consultations with the provinces, and they didn't have any real hearings in this place. There was absolutely no cost-benefit analysis done in terms of the cost to the economy, and I would submit that these changes not only hurt the workers, they'll undermine our seasonal industries and the businesses that operate in those seasonal industries. Mr. Speaker, I find it remarkably strange, and I listened to a lot of the speakers here today. Words are being expressed by government MPs that don't in any way at all have any relationship with the reality on the ground by the people that are affected by these changes. Conservative backbench MPs are quite brave to stand up in this place and spout the government talking points, or the ones that the parliamentary secretary allows them to spout. However, they seem very reluctant, Mr. Speaker, to explain these changes beyond this place. And I'll reference, Mr. Speaker, the Moncton Times and transcript, Saturday, February 2nd, 2013, the headline, Labour Groups Demand EI Meetings. Quote, a new coalition of anti-poverty and labour groups from across New Brunswick is asking the province's 8 Conservative MPs to set up public meetings to explain controversial changes to the employment insurance system, end of quote. It goes on to say in the article that most Conservative MPs have stayed away from any such meetings. In fact, Mr. Speaker, last Thursday night, I attended a meeting in Alberton, Prince Edward Island, called by those concerned about the employment insurance changes. That's riding as in the Minister of National Revenue's, it's her riding. And the seasonal workers there expressed lots of concerns. But I was shocked, Mr. Speaker, I was shocked by the initial remarks of the chair directing of that meeting, in which the chair, from the microphone at the meeting, directed the media there not to take any photographs of people who were speaking at the mics, because she'd already been informed by those people there that the people were fearful if their photograph was taken that HRSDC might retaliate against them in some way. This is Canada, Mr. Speaker. This is Canada. That shouldn't be happening where people are operating out of fear in this country, and that's what they are. We hear it all the time from people on the phone who call into our office, and the parliamentary secretary laughs. This is no joking matter. This is no joking matter, Mr. Speaker. The fact of the matter is, that is what people are saying on the phone to us.
Order. Order. There will be a questions and comments period following the speech, and if members would like to pose questions or make comments about the honourable member's speech, I'd invite them to do so at that time and not during his remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm just telling you the facts, Mr. Speaker, that people are actually afraid. They will say to us, and I heard the member from Ajax Pickering talking earlier, well, you know, they can go back on the old system. They made that change. That's true, they did. They did. But when people call in and ask to go on that system, they're encouraged not to by staff at HRSDC. They're told that, look, you'll have to do paper returns and not electronic, and it'll take longer, and by golly, if there's a postal strike, you know, your family may have nothing to eat. Those are actually words that were told to us by people who looked at going on to the old system, where, yes, they would do much better. And I would ask the parliamentary secretaries, the two of them, to think this issue through. I said a moment ago, Mr. Speaker, seasonal industries are responsible for somewhere around 20% of our exports. Those industries have been injured by these changes because their workers are indeed affected. I want to mention one other thing. My time is getting short. But one of the things that came up at the meeting in Alberton, loud and clear, is people who applied, and they didn't know this when they applied, who applied to take Canada Pension Plan at 60, and are seasonal workers, are having, the way it works, they take their monthly Canada Pension Plan, they multiply by 12, they get the yearly amount, then they divide by 52, and it gives them their weekly CPP. 50 cents on the dollar of that PPP has been drawn back. That's unacceptable, Mr. Speaker, but that's what this government is doing to seasonal workers. They're even taking their pension that they paid into away from them. And just as bad, Mr. Speaker, people who are on parental leave, nurses, who are going in to work a 4-hour shift or a 6-hour shift, keep their license up, help the hospital out in terms of scheduling a 4- and an 8-hour shift, keep their skills up so that when they go back to work in the healthcare system, they can hit the ground running. Those people are having 50 cents on the dollar of their parental leave clawed back. That's the punitive penalties that we're seeing. And the 5-week project that was mentioned a couple of times, pilot project, Mr. Speaker, you know what that is doing is to taking that away without any economic analysis whatsoever, is penalizing the individuals further, leaving families without income for an additional 5 weeks when they're already without income probably for another 4 or 5, probably forcing some onto the welfare system of the problem. There's no need to do it. There was money in the system. Why did the government not hold hearings and hear the consequences of what these decisions would be? Mr. Speaker, I submit, reverse these decisions and reinstate the 5-week pilot project. Thank you very much.
Questions and comments. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.